2 years ago, Manchester United fans believed the club was finally rebuilding. A new manager, young stars arriving, big money being spent. But somehow, the midfield still feels incomplete. Not weak, not talentless, just incomplete. Because for all the attacking signings, tactical experiments and expensive transfers, United still don't have one thing every elite team needs: control. And now, reports are linking United with one of the most physically dominant midfielders in Europe, Tchouaméni, a player once seen as untouchable at Real Madrid. But after another disappointing season in Spain, things are beginning to change. Barcelona are celebrating, Madrid are frustrated. The dressing room reportedly feels tense, and suddenly, rumors of exits are everywhere. So the question is no longer, would Manchester United want Tchouaméni? The real question is, why do they want him right now? When Tchouaméni arrived at Real Madrid from AS Monaco, he looked like the future. Strong, aggressive, press-resistant, elite defensively. At just 22 years old, he was already being compared to some of the best defensive midfielders in world football. And Madrid treated him like the next foundation piece. The long-term replacement for legends like Casemiro, ironically, the same Casemiro that Manchester United would later sign. At the time, it made perfect sense. Madrid looked prepared for the future. Young midfielders everywhere: Jude Bellingham, Eduardo Camavinga, Federico Valverde, Tchouaméni. On paper, it looked unstoppable, but football changes fast, and expectations at Real Madrid are brutal. You are either world-class immediately, or the pressure starts eating you alive, especially after trophy-less seasons, especially when FC Barcelona are winning titles again, especially when the fans start turning restless. And that's where the situation gets interesting. Because while Tchouaméni hasn't been bad, something feels off: the consistency, the confidence, the chemistry in midfield. At times he's looked dominant. At other times he's looked like a player carrying enormous pressure. And in Madrid, pressure becomes headlines. Headlines become criticism, and criticism becomes transfer rumors. Now suddenly, Manchester United are watching carefully. Because when a giant club becomes unstable, opportunities appear. The biggest problem Manchester United have had for years is balance, not talent. Balance. Think about it. For years, United have tried different midfield combinations: attacking midfielders playing deeper, box-to-box players forced into defensive roles, aging veterans, inconsistent pressing systems. And every season, the same thing happens. The midfield gets overrun, especially against elite teams, especially in transition, especially when the game becomes physical. That's exactly why a player like Tchouaméni becomes attractive. He solves multiple problems at once. First, defensive protection. Tchouaméni covers space incredibly well. He reads danger early, he breaks transitions, he wins duels, and physically, he's dominant. That alone changes games. Because modern football is brutal in midfield. You cannot control games without athletes anymore, and United know that. Second, ball progression. A lot of people think defensive midfielders only tackle. Elite ones do much more. Tchouaméni can carry the ball forward, switch play quickly, break pressure, recycle possession calmly. That's important because United have often looked chaotic in build-up, too direct, too rushed, too emotional. Tchouaméni brings control, and control is exactly what top teams need. But there's another reason United may be interested: age profile. He's entering his prime years. Not too old, not inexperienced, not a short-term gamble. He fits the modern rebuild timeline perfectly, and if Madrid are genuinely frustrated internally, United may see this as a rare market opportunity. Because normally, players like Tchouaméni are unavailable, completely unavailable, unless something behind the scenes changes. Now let's talk about Real Madrid, because this story isn't just about United wanting a midfielder, it's also about Madrid possibly losing stability. When Real Madrid lose, pressure explodes instantly. The media pressure, the fan pressure, the dressing room pressure. Everything becomes magnified. And after Barcelona's recent dominance in Spain, questions are everywhere. Questions about tactics, questions about mentality, questions about chemistry. Some reports have even hinted at frustration between players internally. And when squads become overloaded with stars, egos become difficult to manage, especially at Real Madrid. Because every player believes they should start. Every player believes they're world-class. And every poor result creates tension. Now imagine being Tchouaméni in that environment. One bad performance becomes, is he good enough? One injury becomes, should Madrid upgrade? One tactical change becomes, has he lost his place? That pressure can exhaust players mentally, especially when expectations never slow down. And this is exactly how transfer stories begin. Not always because a player desperately wants to leave, but because uncertainty starts growing. And uncertainty creates opportunities for other clubs, like Manchester United. But here's where things become complicated. Would Tchouaméni actually improve Manchester United immediately? Honestly? Probably yes, but not magically, because one midfielder cannot fix an entire football structure. And that's something United fans know too well. We've seen this before. Big signings arriving with massive expectations. Paul Pogba, Casemiro, Mason Mount. Talented players entering unstable systems and eventually struggling. That's why this transfer would depend heavily on the system around him. If United become more organised tactically, Tchouaméni could dominate the Premier League. Seriously. His physicality already suits English football. His defensive intensity suits transition-heavy matches. And unlike some midfielders, he doesn't disappear physically. But if United remain chaotic structurally, even elite players can look average. That's been the story of Manchester United for years, and it's why fans are divided on signings now. Some fans believe, buy better players. Others believe, fix the structure first. Ideally, you need both. And maybe United believe Tchouaméni can become the centerpiece of that structure. There's also another interesting layer to this story, psychology. Because sometimes players simply need a new environment. At Madrid, Tchouaméni is fighting expectations, competition, media pressure, tactical uncertainty. At United, ironically, he may receive more patience. Because expectations at Manchester United are different right now. Madrid demand perfection immediately. United are still rebuilding, and sometimes players perform better when they feel trusted instead of constantly judged. That matters more than people realize. Football is psychological. Confidence changes everything. One manager's system can unlock a player completely. We've seen it happen countless times before. A player struggles at one giant club, then suddenly looks world-class elsewhere. So if United believe Tchouaméni's best years are still ahead, this becomes less of a transfer gamble and more of a long-term investment. But there's still one major issue: money. Because even in difficult situations, Real Madrid rarely sell cheaply, especially not young elite midfielders. Any deal for Tchouaméni would likely cost enormous money, and United already have multiple areas needing improvement: defense, attack, midfield depth, squad balance. So the club would need to decide, is Tchouaméni worth building around? Because if you spend that much money, you're not buying a squad player. You're buying a cornerstone, a midfielder expected to define your team for years. That's massive pressure, especially in the Premier League, especially at Manchester United. And honestly, that may be exactly why this story feels so fascinating right now, because it represents two giant clubs moving in opposite emotional directions. Real Madrid, frustrated, tense, disappointed. Manchester United, desperate for identity, structure, and control. One club questioning players, the other searching for answers. And somewhere in the middle of that chaos, there's Aurélien Tchouaméni, a player talented enough to change a midfield, but also a player standing at a career crossroads. Maybe he stays in Madrid and fights for his place. Maybe the rumors disappear completely. Or maybe Manchester United see an opportunity too big to ignore. And if that happens, this could become one of the most important transfers of the next few years. Because sometimes football transfers aren't just about talent, they're about timing. And right now, the timing feels interesting. But what do you think? Should Manchester United go all in for Aurélien Tchouaméni? Or are there bigger problems at the club that one signing can't fix? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video and want more football stories, transfer drama, and deep dives like this, make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. I'll see you in the next one.